Welcome back to Practical English Studio, your home for improving professional communication skills. I'm your host, Chris, and this is episode 3, The Bridge Between Us, Mastering Professional Interaction. Today, we are thrilled to have leadership coach and communication expert Jessica back with us. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's great to be back.
In our last 2 episodes, we explored the internal world, starting with interoception, our ability to sense our own body's signals, and then building our emotional vocabulary. We talked about how naming our feelings is the first step to managing them. But Jessica, why are these internal skills so absolutely critical in the workplace?
That's the foundational question, Chris. All constructive interaction, every single successful negotiation or feedback session, starts with what I call a connection to self.
Connection to self.
Exactly. When we lack that self-awareness, we don't respond to situations, we react. Under stress, a missed deadline or a critical comment can trigger a fight or flight response. This can look like aggressive, blaming language, or it can look like shutting down and avoiding the issue entirely.
Right? So you're not in control.
Precisely. The emotional skills we discussed are not about suppressing feelings. They're about recognizing them, saying, okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now, so that you can pause and consciously choose a professional and constructive reaction. That pause is where your power lies.
That's a fantastic point. It's the bridge from awareness to action. So, once we have that awareness, how do we begin communicating effectively outwards? Let's start with setting and communicating goals.
Of course, communicating goals is fundamental. There are a few key principles. First, use a mix of one-on-one and group forums. Team meetings are great for the big picture, but individual check-ins are where you can personalize goals and address specific challenges.
Both contexts are important.
Second is ensuring strategic alignment. Everyone on the team should understand how their individual tasks contribute to the larger company objectives. It answers the why behind the work, which is a huge motivator.
Strategic alignment, right.
Third, leadership must lead by example. Leaders should share their own goals and progress openly. And finally, evaluate past performance. Use data from previous quarters to set realistic but ambitious targets for the future.
That makes complete sense. You need the full picture to move forward. So, what defines a good goal? What should managers and employees be aiming for?
A good goal is clear, realistic, and challenging, and it must be time-bound. Vague goals like improve sales are not helpful. A better goal is increase new client sales by 15% by the end of third quarter. It's specific and measurable.
Clear and measurable.
And we can generally categorize goals into 3 main types. Performance goals are about what you achieve, the results. Development goals are about how you grow, learning a new skill, for example. And cooperation goals are about how well you work with others, improving team communication, for instance.
Performance, development, and cooperation goals. That's a very useful framework. When it comes to writing these down, is there a structure you recommend? I know many companies use the SMART goals framework.
Yes, the SMART framework is an industry standard for a reason. It works. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific means being precise about what needs to be accomplished. Measurable requires clear metrics to track progress. Achievable ensures the goal is realistic. Relevant means the goal aligns with broader objectives. And time-bound sets a clear deadline. Using this structure prevents misunderstandings and sets a clear path to success.
That's incredibly clear, thank you. That structure is essential for turning vague intentions into actionable steps. Okay, so with a solid framework for setting goals, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. When there's conflict or a missed deadline. I've heard about a powerful model called nonviolent communication, or NVC. Can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. NVC is a transformative approach for turning potential conflicts into productive conversations. It's built on 4 simple pillars: observation, feelings, needs, and a specific request.
Observation, feelings, needs, and request. Okay, let's break that down.
First is observation. This means stating what you actually saw or heard without any judgment or interpretation, just the facts. For example, the report was due at 3 p.m. and I haven't received it, instead of you're late with the report again.
So it removes the accusation.
Exactly. The second pillar is feelings. After the observation, you state how it made you feel using I statements. I feel concerned, not you are irresponsible. This takes ownership of your emotion. Third is needs. What universal need of yours isn't being met? This could be a need for reliability, support, or clarity. I feel concerned because I have a need for predictability in our workflow.
Okay, that connects the feeling to a concrete need.
And finally, the fourth pillar is a specific request. It must be a clear, positive, and doable action. You ask, would you be willing to, rather than demanding, don't ever do that again. It opens the door for collaboration.
This is so practical. Can you give us a full before and after example? Let's stick with the missed deadline scenario.
Certainly, a typical blaming statement might sound like this. You missed the deadline again. This is completely unacceptable, and now the whole team is behind schedule because of you.
Okay, I think we've all heard or felt that one before.
Now, here's the same situation using the NVC model. Hi, Chris. I observed that the project report wasn't submitted by the 3 p.m. deadline today. Observation. I'm feeling worried about our team's timeline. Feeling. Because I need to be able to rely on our agreed-upon schedules to manage the workflow effectively. Need. Would you be willing to talk with me for 15 minutes this afternoon about what happened and how we can best move forward? Request.
Wow, the difference is night and day. One is an attack and the other is an invitation to solve a problem together. It's so much more professional and, well, humane. That nonviolent communication model flows perfectly into our next topic, delivering constructive feedback. The principles seem very closely related.
They are. Constructive feedback is a gift when delivered correctly. It's all about building people up and fostering growth, not tearing them down. There are several key guidelines to make it effective.
Let's hear them.
First is timing. Give feedback soon after an event, but never during a high-stress moment or when you're angry. Find a calm, private moment where the other person can actually hear you.
Timing is everything.
Second, frequency. Feedback should be a regular, ongoing conversation, not a scary once-a-year event. Small, frequent course corrections are far more effective than one huge, overwhelming review.
That makes it feel more like coaching than criticism.
Third is precision. Be specific and base your feedback on facts and observations, just like an NVC. Avoid hints, irony, or generalizations. For example, I noticed in the presentation that the data on slide 3 was from last quarter, is much better than you really need to check your slides more carefully.
Direct and factual. I like it.
Next is the power of I. Always frame feedback from your own perspective. I felt confused when the topic shifted instead of your presentation was confusing. It takes the blame out and makes it about your experience, which is undeniable. Then, focus on influence. Give feedback on behavior that the person can actually change. Commenting on someone's personality is not constructive. Focus on specific actions and their impacts.
Focus on what they can influence. Got it.
And finally, self-reflection. Continuously evaluate your own feedback style. Ask yourself, am I being clear? Am I being supportive? Is this helping? Giving good feedback is a skill that requires practice, just like any other.
So to recap these principles of constructive feedback, get the timing and frequency right, be precise, use the power of I statements, focus on what the person can influence, and practice self-reflection. That is an outstanding toolkit. This has been incredibly insightful, Jessica. To summarize for our listeners, what we've learned today is that effective professional communication isn't some magic talent. It's a learned skill. It starts with that connection to self and then uses structured models, like the goal-setting frameworks and nonviolent communication, to build a bridge from our internal world to our external interactions. These tools help turn difficult conversations into opportunities for growth. Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure, Chris. Thanks for the great conversation.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Practical English Studio. Join us next time as we explore the role of mindfulness skills in maintaining focus and calm in a busy workplace. Until then, keep practicing.